frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back for 2 on the assist.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
Wherever life takes you, remember all roads lead to Econo Lodge. We make travel easy. Econo Lodge, easy stop on the road.
Good evening and welcome to Gadsden State and Redfield House for tonight's game between the Gadsden State Cardinals and the Georgia Highlands Chargers.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Gadsden, Alabama, as we get set for game number 2 of your twin bill. It is the 18th ranked team in the country, Georgia Highlands College, coming in to take on the Cards of Gadsden State. Robert Williamson set to bring the coverage. James Crenshaw providing all the different looks, and running the camera is Mark Mendiola. Well, Georgia Highlands is no stranger to the national tournament. They are no stranger to a top 25 ranking, coming in as the 18th ranked team in the nation, but it had an opportunity to talk with head coach Phil Gaffney just prior to the game, and this is not a Georgia Highlands squad like he's had the past few years, at least to start the year off with a 2-3 mark, but they typically are ready to play basketball come the end of the year. Let's take a look at those who will be on the floor to begin this one. And of course, there you see the 5 who will start things off for the Chargers of Georgia Highland. Johnson at 6'3", Bernard at 6'9". Then the 6'3" King, the 6'6" Wonders, and the 6'5" Buford. Meanwhile, countering, it's the Cards, and they look this way. You'll have the Mobile, Alabama guard on the floor. You will have, that of course is John Arnold. You will have the likes of Maurice King. He's out of Alabama. As a matter of fact, everybody in the starting lineup from the state of Alabama, Looney, Richardson, and McKinney as well. As we get ready for the second game of 2. The opening game, it was a dandy, 77-73 the final score. It's the ladies of Georgia Highlands College that come back and win it by 4 when they were down by 17 about midway through the third. As a matter of fact, the Lady Chargers never took the lead in the game they played until you got 25 seconds away from the final buzzer. And that's when Georgia Highlands took the advantage and go away with a 4-point victory, 77-73. Gadsden State's men, they want a split of the twin bill. And of course, the Chargers are looking for the sweep, as you've got this matchup between the GCAA and the ACCC. A cool night here in Gadsden. Temperatures on the outside right about 39 degrees. I had a really young gentleman on the pitch for Gadsden State, but they decided they might need to move him. He was sitting with the starters. They thought this youngster, who's probably about 7 or 8 years of age, I guess he was thinking, hey, there's a possibility I might get into the starting lineup. But he was pushed to the end of the bench, and there you got the introduction here. Homecoming at Gadsden as Gadsden State takes on GHC, squad out of the northern part of Georgia. Probably not that far of a drive over to Rome, Georgia. As a matter of fact, the men and the women for Georgia Highlands College came in separate vehicles. So that would be an indicator. Probably not too bad of a drive from Rome, Georgia here to Gadsden, Alabama, as we get this one underway. 20 minutes placed onto the clock. And the gentlemen are at the mid part of the floor, decked out in the orange is Georgia Highlands, and the gray with a little maroon tossed in is Gadsden State with the ball tossed skyward. And the opening possession by the Cards. We have this one underway. Richardson. Handoff quickly goes to Arnold. Arnold back over to the timeline. That is Johnson. Both teams with some decent size. A 6'7" in Johnson on the floor for Gadsden State. Of course, a little more size for Georgia Highlands, as they will begin with a 6'9" and a 6'6". Jumper from the top of the key. The left-hander, it's a miss for Khalil Waters, the 6'6" freshman from Douglasville, Georgia. On the opposite end, the three dips in and out for McKinney and then falls back in. Well, that was an unusual look, really, to a three, because with a dip, you just didn't think that it would probably fall in, but somehow had some kind of English that allowed it to go skyward and drop back into the cylinder. Standing on the arc, that is a DeAndre Bernard 2. Long 2, stolen away opportunity to get a couple of buckets on the possession, but instead goes out of bounds off the fingertips of King. A couple of 20-minute stanzas. This being the opening one. Problems getting it in. And Nick Looney with some pleading with the official. Not sure what the plead was about, though. Just simply swatted out of bounds, and Arnold will get it. Give goes into the corner, and there is the three that misses for Johnson. Coming to the other end of the floor, another Johnson. The GHC variety. King, that is a three. Georgia Highlands coming in with a 2-3 overall record. It's not often that a Charger squad is below the 500 mark, and you don't expect them to stay there long. Of course, those losses have come to nationally ranked teams. But regardless, or as my wife continues to tell me, there is no such word. But regardless, it's a little unusual to see a Georgia Highlands College squad with a mark below 500. Johnson trying to get to it. Meanwhile, Richardson was just waiting for it to travel out of bounds. Johnson almost got it for the Chargers. But instead it'll be the Cardinals in possession. They will bring it in from the far sidelines. Doing the honors is John Arnold. I mentioned he is a Mobile, Alabama product, which is a city in the South that produces frequent great talent. Timeout on the floor. It is asked for by the Cardinals. 18-16 left to play here in the first half. So let's keep it right here with the timeout as they take a 30. I mentioned it is homecoming here, and they had all the homecoming festivities in the opening game. Took about 20 minutes between the second and the third quarter to take care of business there. The band you hear is a pretty good one. The Gadsden State Jazz Band. A little bit of everything. A little Maynard Ferguson, a little Commodores earlier. The one thing that I have noticed in the music from the Gadsden State Band is they are predominantly playing stuff from the 80s, maybe the late 70s. Haven't heard a lot of the new stuff. Of course, I probably wouldn't recognize much of the new stuff. After the 30-second timeout, back to the action. Arnold working it to the top of the key. Gadsden State out of the ACCC. Georgia Highlands out of the GCAA. And there is a shot clock violation. Shondarius McKinney just lost track of time and did not realize that the allotted 30 had ticked down to goose eggs until that buzzer sounded. And if the buzzer sounds and you've done nothing, it's a little late. Now it goes top of the key to Waters. Driving in, it is laid in. Finger roll from King. Dished underneath to Looney. Looney has it rejected, but the foul committed by Bernard. That will send Nick Looney from Steele, Alabama to the line, the 6'3" sophomore forward. No conference play for either team until you get into the first part of January. I know the GCAA has maybe 1 or 2 conference games in the month of December, but the bulk of their conference activity, and obviously the same is true for Gadsden State, comes with a new year. Where the ACCC is concerned, the men's state tournament happens at Lawson State. For the GCAA, as the turnaround misses for King. A little different scenario. It is the top seeded team after the quarterfinals that will host the semis and the championship in the state GCAA tournament. So you will know on Tuesday night who plays and where they play on Friday and Saturday. Got to walk in the corner. NJCAA basketball pulls out the preseason rankings. I mentioned Georgia Highlands. They are rated number 18 in the country. Number 1 team is the champion from a year ago, Hutchinson, which can't fault that. Stay number 1 until somebody knocks you off. And apparently somebody stepped out of bounds. And that somebody wearing a gray and maroon jersey, the round ball will belong to the Chargers of Georgia Highland. Number 1 is Hutchinson. Northwest Florida State in those preseason polls, number 2. South Plains 3. Vincennes is 4. Eastern Florida State 5. Indian Hill 6. Odessa 7. Moberly area is 8. And there's a foul on Looney. Looney likes to plead his case. He's explaining why he did what he did and why it shouldn't be a foul. But it is, and it's the first on Looney. Motlow State 9, Southern Idaho 10. Chipola is 11. Panola 12. Tallahassee 13. Coffeyville 14. Florida Southwestern State is 15. San Jacinto Central 16. Salt Lake is 17. Georgia Highlands 18. Gillette 19. Iowa Western is 20. 21. Spartanburg Methodist. Arizona Western is 22. Clinton 23. Wabash Valley 24. And Holmes 25. Low scoring early, at least compared to what you anticipate when the Charger squad takes to the hardwood. A lot of new guys, though, as compared to a year ago. And at least from an early observation standpoint, the difference is Looney reaches in and takes it away on a pass intended for Jordan Ford, brings it to the hoop, lays it up and won't drop, but it's jammed through by Johnson. And that's got the homecoming crowd on their feet. DeMarcus Addy, the 6'1" sophomore from Manchester, Georgia, on the floor. Bounce pass goes down low to Waters. Waters turn around, won't drop. Looney's got it. Kicks it over to McKinney. And McKinney with it back out up front. Arnold from the corner on the floor into the paint. Leans, hits it, and it's the offensive. And I'm right here at the Gadsden State bench, and I can assure you that was not to the liking of Dedrick Tarmer, the head coach of Gadsden State. Had the suit coat on, and the suit coat came off. And slung it to the end of the bench. And is now called for some new personnel onto the floor. Got a feeling before the night is over, the coat's not the only thing coming off. The tie, I guess, is next. From the top of the key, tip this direction. A collision And the whistle not for the collision between Arnold and Ford. It instead was that a Charger touched it out of bounds. Christopher Lewis checking into the lineup. Looney's got it at the timeline. Lewis has got it top of the key. The other new face on the floor, it belongs to Maurice Johnson. Johnson, a freshman from Forestdale, Alabama. As a matter of fact, it is exclusively an Alabama roster for Gadsden State. It is not exclusively a Georgia roster for Georgia Highlands. They've got Illinois, Ontario, New Jersey, and Florida all tossed into the mix. 3 fouls each, with McKinney shooting, misses his first. A 1-point ball game as McKinney goes 1 for 2. Bernard's got it. Works it into the paint. Outside of the arc, Ford short on the 3. Tipped high into the air. Johnson able to get it. Goes over to another Johnson. A little better than 5 minutes into this one, a 9-8 contest. Breaking towards the hoop, right-handed shot, just a little short for Johnson. And then there is a jump ball, and the possession arrow will have us heading down to this end of the floor. Checking into the lineup for the Cards is De'Aris Richardson, the 6-footer from Bessemer, Alabama. Also Norman Kelly, the 6'4" forward from Marion, home of MMI. Checking into the lineup. One-point Georgia Highlands College advantage. It is our, second or third? I think it's our third basketball ACCC game of the week. Yeah, I'd say our third. We were in Boaz last week, Jasper the week before. All basketball season long, we're somewhere. Lone exceptions would be around Christmas and New Year's when we take a couple of weeks off. Otherwise, an ACCC game of the week every week. And if watching it once isn't good enough for you, the archive version of the game will follow. Or, heck, get your own copy. Send them out as Christmas gifts. They're available for download on the website. Short on the 4 and 3. It is rebounded by Richardson. Richardson working into the top of the key. By the way, the game coverage not only available on the website on jockjive.com. Game coverage also available for this one on Facebook. First 10 minutes of the second half, we take your text shout-outs, but if you want to shout out before the third or after the fact, you can do it anytime you like on the Facebook coverage of the game. And plus the game available on your Roku device. So lots of ways to watch this one between GSCC and GHC. Cards to bring it in from the baseline. Obviously, the ultimate goal for all, get to Hutchinson, Kansas, play in the NJCA National Championships. Maybe take home a really big piece of hardware. Spinning to the hoop, getting it to drop in Kelly, and he got fouled as well. And Gadsden will take their first lead of the game with an opportunity to make it a little more than the current one. Norman Kelly, the 6'4" forward, at the line shooting. And it becomes a bucket lead with King at the top of the key in possession of the round ball for Georgia Highlands. Pulls up near the free throw line, and he will nail it to knot it. 11 each. Tipped away by Tyler Thornton, the 6'7" freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, who is checked into the lineup for Georgia Highlands. Carnes will be able to keep it. It's Johnson who will handle the inbounds from right in front of that Georgia Highlands bench. Put in play to Richardson. Lewis has it tipped away, picked up by King. King scanning the floor on a strip down, gives over to Buford. Buford short on the three. King right here into my lap. I didn't know I was so basketball talented. Of course, I bobbled it a little bit, don't get me wrong. But our broadcast table here on the end of the floor, and you literally can get right into the action. Still 11 each. 13:09 left to play. Lewis handling the inbounds, and it's the Cards who get the steal. Richardson going to the other end of the floor. Dump goes into the paint. New face on the floor is Luke Graham, the 6'6" forward from Rainsville, Alabama. Got the underneath of the backboard and then drew the foul. And Gadsden stayed with an opportunity to reclaim the lead that they held once, 11-9. Raines at the line, trying to once more extend the lead to 2. Nobody's been able to sustain much motivation or momentum. Chargers have led by as much as 4. Cardinals have led by as much as 2. So there has not been much differential, about a 6-point swing. Couple of misses by Graham. And now it is the Chargers who will try to break apart the 11-all tie, and they do. Long range shot from DeMarcus Addy. Bringing it underneath, it is short. 115 misses. Richardson, 115's got it. And apparently there was a kick on the way down. So the Cardinals get it back. 3-point advantage. It belongs to Georgia Highlands. By the way, I think I briefly mentioned the first 10 minutes of the second half. We're going to find out where you're watching the game from. Get your text shout out, so get those dexterity exercises underway. From the backside, Graham fouled. And the gentleman who missed a pair a few moments ago for the line will go there again. But your tech shout-outs coming up in the first 10 minutes of the second half, where you're watching. And I know you're watching these teams, but if there's somebody in particular you want to send a shout-out to, we'll get to that in half number 2. Big day in the NJCAA because of the release of the final regular season NJCAA football polls. Not the final polls of the year, however. Graham 1 for 2. It is saved into the hands of Thornton. And he double dribbled. The final NJCAA football polls will have the national champion. But these polls huge because they determine some bowls. Bowl bids go out tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the NJCAA. And it is anticipated, though there's the possibility it won't happen, but it's anticipated that number 1 East Mississippi will take on number 2 Arizona Western for the national championship in Perkinston, Mississippi on the 3rd of December. There are other bowl games too, but that's the one with the most significant ramifications. Missed by Thornton. Johnson with it on the other end, and it's out. And at last got a card. checking back into the lineup for Gadsden State. A.J. Banton, the 6'1 freshman from Locust Grove, Georgia, in for Georgia Highlands. Locust Grove, for a number of years, was the spot the GCAA played their state softball tournament. Last year, it moved to Georgia Military. And this year, it's in Rome, Georgia, as a matter of fact. Will be played at Georgia Highlands. And speaking of Georgia Highlands in softball, we got all their home games coming up starting in February right here. Annie got the jam. Chargers touch it last. The jams are always given a second look. And there's the one from Addy. DeMarcus Addy, the 6'1 sophomore from Manchester, Georgia. Okay, he's 6'1 and he slams on 6 feet, and I don't know if I can touch the net. Little different vertical leap. Johnson. And it goes to McKinney. McKinney working it to the top of the key, pulls up near the stripe. Short on the shot. Loose ball. Carnes get it. Spin move. Rejected. Waters got a hand on it. Here comes Johnson. Shoots. And there's a blocking foul that will have Johnson at the line. Both teams struggling from the floor. We do not have the benefit of halftime stats provided, but at least halfway through the first half, you've got to have both teams shooting, I would think, below 30%, certainly 35%. Norman Kelly into the lineup for Gadsden State. Johnson hits both. And Georgia Highlands has got their largest lead of the game at 6. Lob down low. And that's going to be a goal-10. Points credited to Norman Kelly, and the goal-10 came from the backside from Waters. (18-14). Took a little trip down the mighty miss. No, that's a different. I don't think it was 18-14. Three-pointer. Bernard with it. Lead goes to 7, largest advantage of the game for Georgia Highlands College. Each time it looks as if the Cards are narrowing the gap, Chargers have been able to build the lead a little more substantial. It's currently 7. Excellent ball movement, lost in the paint, able to get it back as Johnson. Shot misses, Georgia Highlands got it. Johnson into the paint. And reaching in and creating the walk with his defense was Norman Kelly. Put in play over to McKinney. Looney. Handing it back to Arnold. Arnold with a pull-up 2, and he got it to drop. Five-point visitor lead as it goes over to Addy. Addy from the left side. Down low to Bernard. Back out front with it. That is A.J. Banton. We get to the 9-minute mark, just a tad under. Georgia Highlands College Chargers representing the GCAA, trying to sweep the night, spoil the Gadsden State homecoming. Arnold whips it into the corner. The three is just a little long for Johnson. It is rebounded by Sandro Noel, the 6'6" freshman from Miami, who's now in for Georgia Highlands, and a walk on the trip baseline by Ford. Van coming off the floor. Back in is King for Georgia Highlands. Put in play to Arnold, who will work his way to the other end of the floor. Looney back to Arnold. Looney will shoot the three. Overshoots his target and able to grab the rebound is Ford. Lobs it ahead of King. The reverse won't drop. Follow-up will, though, from Bernard. And the Cards going to their bench. Cade White, the 6'3" guard from Geraldine, Alabama, getting set to come in for the Cardinals of Gadsden State. Richardson going to the bench. What's significant about Richardson going to the bench, he's been on the sidelines, but he's been on his back trying to stretch out the quad muscles. So got some muscle tightening, and he's gone through a ritual on the sidelines and now has finished the ritual and is at the bench. One more from John Arnold. Again, thank you for watching the coverage wherever you may be doing so. Online, on Roku, on Facebook. 1 for 2 at the stripe. We do not have a 15 listed on our roster. I'm thinking it. Well, I don't know who it might be. I'm looking at an AJ Farrar, but he's listed at 6'4", and the guy wearing 15 is not 6'4". He is a guard who I would say is probably less than 6 feet, but 6 at best. Got a whistle, bodies on the floor, one each, one Card, one Charger. Foul is called on Jordan Ford. That will be his first. It is the 9th Georgia Highland foul, though. By the way, the big dunk from DeMarcus Addy. It's already on Facebook and Twitter. Hashtag ACCC Sports. Or hashtag the GCAA. Of course, all the big plays, not just from basketball, but all sports available on Facebook and Twitter, which would make it a good reason to follow us and befriend us. But either one of those hash marks, the GCAA or ACCC Sports, get you all kinds of plays, including the slam from earlier in this one. Pull up Jay from Johnson. It is missed. Bernard touched it while it went out. Maurice Johnson, the 6'7" forward from Birmingham, handling the inbound. Just a little change over 7 left to go in half number 1. Bounce pass to Arnold. Two teams met last year here at Gadsden. Down onto the floor goes Johnson, and he goes to the floor holding the jaw. So apparently took a pop to the mouth somewhere along the way. And let's see if we can pick up where it happened. Right there. You saw the immediate reaction after Bernard got a piece of him. An official going to the scorer's table, not exactly sure why. 7:08 left on the clock. Haven't seen a change in the clock. Shot clock at 28. Haven't seen a change there either. And if they're talking about the foul, well, there's no replay for the officials in NJCAA basketball, with one exception. And that's when you get to the national championships. In the championships, you do have the benefit of going to the monitor and checking out a replay on something the officials might question. Doesn't happen during the regular season, though. Although you got to believe at some point that will change for the NJCAA. It's already changed in basketball at the collegiate level. So you would think junior college at some point will follow suit. Well, it was an elbow thrown. And that was Johnson charged with a foul. And you get a little bit of a chuckle from me because I don't know that I've ever seen an official go to the sidelines and instead of holding up a finger, or in this particular case, since Johnson dons 0, like the clenched fist, instead he did the 0 sign with his finger. He just kind of air drew a 0. Of course, the scorekeeper got the message. Kenny with a 1-for-2 trip to the line. And he's got it top of the key. Goes right side. Back out front to Noel. That is a 3 that's just a little bit short. And a couple of cards got tied up trying to get the rebound. Johnson and Kelly. Kelly comes away with it. Into the corner to White. White's first 3, no good. Rebounded by Noel. And then Noel reaches in, takes it away. But the Chargers get it back in the corner. That is Addy with it. Into the paint, off the glass. Bucket counts for Bernard. Stolen, put up. Was it put in? Will it be shooting 2 or will it be shooting 1? And the official never indicated the bucket count, and it did not. So it is a 2-shot foul. But again, we have no name on our roster for a 15. Torrey Brown coming onto the floor for Gadsden State. And now the indication is it was a foul on the floor and not a shooting foul. Gadsden State had not hit the 7. And now they're giving the cue to the scorekeeper's table as to who committed the foul. And the foul was committed by Shondarius McKinney. So a lot of issues to sort through. First, you thought that somebody would be shooting. They're not. Then clarification on who committed the foul. And now the Chargers will bring it in from the baseline. Whipped outside of the paint to Addy. And outside of the arc as well. Jumper from the elbow. Just a little bit strong. Loose ball grabbed by Johnson. Lobs down the floor. Arnold's there off the glass. It's no good. Rebounded Noel. And we're coming back down to the Charger end of the floor as the Cards pick up their 7th and the Chargers go into the bonus. And it's got Sandro Noel shooting. Plays in Miami, Florida. We were down in Miami about a week ago. GMC ASA Miami football here on Jock Jive Sports. Of course, if you have got the need for sports day or night, live or archived, it's here on Jock Jive. Some of the best junior college sporting events. We cover them, whether in the ACCC, the GCAA, the NJCAA, the TCCAA, hey, even some MACJC. All available on jockjive.com. Brown with it, top of the key. Just about everybody on the roster for the Cardinals have had an opportunity to play here in the first half. Same is true for GHC. Dumped over to Buford. Back out front it goes to Addy. Cutting towards the hoop, there is a foul. I thought the whistle blew prior to the last foul. There was two situations in which you had contact. Well, maybe he committed them both. Cade White maybe committed the first one and the second one. Yep, right there. Well, I thought I heard a whistle, though, prior to that shot. Oh, there's the first one. So there's foul one, and there's foul two. And it looks like they're going to call this a flagrant one. Yes, they've got Buford at the line. All by himself. Well, that shove. And you wonder if, and there's no excuse for it. I'm not excusing the fact that it was indeed a flagrant foul. But you're wondering, or at least I am, that maybe White thought with the first whistle and foul that, well, the play was dead and nothing else was happening. But still, well, it's a lesson learned. You can play basketball for 12, 15 years, and I'm sure learn something different. And if White thought that the play was dead because of the first bump, that's the second foul that created some issues for him. It turns into 3 points total. So the flagrant foul has got White on the bench, and it's got Georgia Highlands up by 10. Addy dumping it down low off the fingertips of Bernard, able to squeeze it, get it back, bumped by Johnson, but Addy's got it. First double-digit lead of the contest comes at the 4:44 mark, just a little strong with the Addy too. Arnold to the Gadsden State end of the floor. Spin move in the paint, nothing there. Bounce pass Brown, puts up the shot, maybe with a piece of it, a charger. Addy will come down with it. And there is a walk. Again, our apologies. We have a roster, but no name for 15. Let's see if I can pop up the Georgia Highlands website. Maybe there they do. We were provided with rosters and information, but don't have a name for 15, but obviously he's a guy that gets a lot of playing time. He's been on the floor for an extended period despite the fact not getting the start. Over it goes to Arnold. And we're coming back down to this end of the floor. And Looney is, I'll tell you the one thing about Looney, he will explain why he did what he did. I mean, the explanation may not be met with pleasantries or the like, but he will indeed explain why he did what he did. Well, I pulled up the roster for Georgia Highlands, and there is no 15. So that source can be scratched. Count the 3, double-digit lead becomes 7. There are pictures, but all the pictures correspond to the guys that are here tonight, wearing their respective numbers. Over to Looney. It goes from the corner. Thought about the 3. Puts it on the floor. Drives it into the paint. And it's rebounded by Bernard. Taken away by Johnson. Arnold. Too strong. And he's got it. Over it goes to Bernard. And Bernard hits the 3. Back to a 10-point lead for Georgia Highlands. Two minutes, 40 seconds left. Tori Brown going to the stripe, the 5'8" guard from Adamsville, Alabama. Will Shelton State win the ACCC again? We won't know until March. But in the preseason poll, Shelton State, the only ACCC team to receive some votes. Did not get into the top 25, but did get votes. Brown going 1 for 2, comes to the sidelines after the shot. Christopher Lewis will check in. Annie. And that's going to be a foul. And it'll be called on Christopher Lewis. And we'll have DeAndre Bernard, the 6'9" sophomore from Ajax, Ontario, shooting. Georgia Highlands, if memory serves me correct, is no stranger to pulling from the country to our north, Canada. I believe they've had several Canadians on their roster over the last several years. Host side for the GCAA tournament. The semis and the championship has been in Rome, Georgia the last several years. Again, it's the top seed that hosts after the quarters. And the top seed after the quarters has been Georgia Highlands College for the last several years, and they have not disappointed the home fans. Won and advanced to Hutchinson. Will they do it again this year? We will find out. Whipped over to Looney. Looney wide open. Quick response by Bernard on the defense. Looney got it back and reverses it in. Addy at the top of the key. And he carried. His palm carried it and gave it back over to the Cards. It is a Monday night, by the way. That means Monday Night Football in progress. At the half, we might as well talk a little football. Big day in the NJCAA. And since it's Monday Night Football in the NFL, I guess we'll move our thoughts from the round ball to the pigskin for a few minutes at halftime. Richardson going down low to Johnson. Opportunity for the Chargers to rebuild the double-digit lead, leading it by 9. Shot clock at 19, game clock at 1:19. Tipped out of bounds by McKinney. Put in play to A.J. Banton, who is checked back in for the Chargers. Noel missing on the three-pointer badly, but tipped in for 2. Over to Johnson, dumps it into the corner. Johnson with a miss from three-point range. Looney's got it in the corner. Went to his knees to maintain the dribble. Did we have double foul? Yep. And a double foul. I believe Lewis and Ford. Lewis for Gadsden State charged with a foul. Jordan Ford for Georgia Highlands got the personal. Well, it is fun to watch, and I'm not sure if it's fun to coach in these tense situations, but fun to watch coach. Gadsden State's coach, Diedrich Tarver, he is up and down the floor, paces to and fro. He grabbed a chair at this end of the bench moments ago. He's up now over near the scorer's table. Coat came off earlier. Let's see if he's still got that tie on. Yep, tie still on. And it's not even loose yet. So he hasn't started to work on the tie. Johnson going to the line after the foul. Foul number 2 on DeAndre Bernard. Johnson makes it a 10-point contest. I mentioned we'll talk football at halftime. A little teaser. Panthers leading it by a tad with a few to go in the first half in Monday Night Football. And Johnson will hit both from the line, make it a 9-point game. Shot clock is off. Game clock is what we focus on. As you see it ticking down inside 20 minutes. I make that 20 seconds. Ben's got it, top of the key. And there was an elbow, a little maybe acting on the part of McKinney. Don't know if it was as much of a push as McKinney indicated, but hey, got the attention of the official. A lot of fouls in the first half. Three-pointer just prior to the buzzer by McKinney. And a little motivation and a little momentum as well going into the locker room at halftime for the Cards, as it is nailed from the corner by McKinney. Halftime 37-31, 6 points. Georgia Highlands lead. We're back to talk football after the break on Jock Jive. Just about all Wayne Jones County. Diving catch at shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Perhaps got it. Long throw over, and he got it.
Wherever life takes you, remember all roads lead to Econo Lodge. We make travel easy. Econo Lodge, easy stop on the road.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back for 2 on the assist.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
Welcome back. It is halftime, 37-31. Georgia Highlands College with a 6-point advantage at the half, but some momentum going into the locker room at halftime as Shantarius McKinney nails the 3 from the corner. Well, I promised to talk football at halftime, but got to see how the first half ended first. That's momentum. And it's a lead of 6 here at the half for the 18th ranked team in the nation. And look at the reaction of McKinney. Yeah, planned that. That's kind of routine for me. And the 6-point lead of the half, it belongs to the Chargers. All right, football. NJCAA football big day. The final regular season polls announced. The only bigger poll during the course of a season is the polls that come out after the bowl games that officially designates the national champion. So those polls impactful on who plays in the national title game and who plays in other bowl games. And the final regular season poll has East Mississippi as the #1 team in the nation in NJCAA football. Arizona Western finishes 2, and we'll talk more about that and its implications bowl-wise in a moment. Iowa Western 3, Northeastern Oklahoma, which captured the Southwest Junior College Football Conference. They end up #4, Northwest Mississippi, which lost by 1 in double overtime to East Mississippi in the MAC-JC State Championship. They will finish 5. Snow 6, Independence 7. Trinity Valley, a 3-loss team. The only 3-loss team in the top 10 is 8. Jones County 9. Meanwhile, Blinn is 10. Itawamba 11. Garden City 12. Hines 13. Lewisburg 14. Butler 15. ASA New York 16. Navarro is 17. Georgia Military, which is a team that we covered during the course of the season, they will finish 18 after the loss to Lackawanna yesterday in West Virginia. On virtue of the victory, Lackawanna moves to the 19 spot in the country, and admittedly at the 20 spot is a team that's new to me. I've been around junior college for a while, but haven't heard the name Northland. But Northland is the #20 ranked team in the country. All right, what about the implications as far as the bowls are concerned? First of all, let's look at the different bowls. You've got the El Toro Bowl in Arizona with a Western States Football League representative and an at-large. The Heart of Texas Bowl in Texas with a SWJCFC opponent against an at-large team. In Chicago, the Red Grange Bowl, 2 at-large. You would think that the College of DuPage gets one of those spots, and that leaves another at-large bid available. And I think probably they leave that open for one aspect, and that's that you need to be a 500 team. College of DuPage is that this year, so likely they take one of those spots. Not sure who's got the other. Sure would like to see a GMC squad in a rematch of a regular season game, but we will wait and see. The bowl bids go out tomorrow, or at least the invitations. Salt City Bowl in Kansas, KJCCC representative against an at-large team. Valley of the Sun Bowl, a WSFL team against an at-large. The Mississippi Bowl, which is no stranger to hosting the national championship, probably will do so again. We anticipate that East Mississippi, they will definitely be there. But we think Arizona Western will be there as the #2 team in the country to play for the national championship. Now, you might be saying, well, why do you think? Why don't we know? Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. Actually, a couple of other bowls. The Midwest Bowl Classic in Miami, Oklahoma, a Southwest Junior College Football Conference team against an at-large. And then you've got the Graphic Edge Bowl with 2 games. You got the first game and then the marquee matchup. Marquee matchup will have Iowa Western against an at-large, or at least I'm assuming so. And then in the opening game, it's already been determined, and I'm trying to remember the name of the team, but there is a squad that is below the 500 mark, that there had to be a special appeal to the NJCAA to get them in that first game. They made the appeal, won the appeal, and they will be playing the opening game against an at-large squad. Now, what about the ramifications as far as the national championship is concerned? Why don't we know one is playing two in the Mississippi Bowl? Well, here's the explanation. According to the NJCAA, the number 1 ranked team in the final regular season rankings released today will have the opportunity to have their bowl game designated as the NJCAA championship game if the number 2 ranked team, and there's the key phrase, that little 2-letter word, if the number 2 ranked team agrees to participate. We would assume that Arizona Western will, but we don't know. If the top 2 ranked teams don't play each other in a sanctioned NJCAA championship game, the national championship game will be determined by the postseason rankings released on Monday, December 4th. Gotta believe that Arizona Western plays East Mississippi for the national championship, but James and I, our producer, were talking earlier today about maybe a scenario in which, I think you're kind of gambling with it, but if you're Arizona Western, you might stay home and play in your bowl and hope that the team East Mississippi winds up playing in the Mississippi Bowl defeats them, which it could be Northwest Mississippi, which has beaten East Mississippi this year and then only lost by 1 in double overtime in the MAC-JC state championship game. That's kind of gambling with it. And I think that Arizona Western probably would prefer to play the odds in a game in which they participate in versus counting on somebody else. So I think one will play 2, but there's the possibility you might have different scenarios to determine the national champion. NFL, obviously Monday Night Football underway, 47 seconds left to play in the first half. Carolina with a 10-7 advantage over Miami, just moments away from the start of halftime. Why don't we take a quick look at NBA before we go to our final break before the second half. Cavaliers on top of the Knicks, 197 with 1:23 to play. Into 3. Bucks lead the Grizzlies 84-77. 6:45 to go in the game. Hawks with a 90-87 lead over the Pelicans. 4:14 to play in the second. Suns lead the Lakers 39-33. 4:07 to go in the second. Timberwolves with a 47-32 advantage over the Jazz. One final. Wizards have beaten the Kings 110-92. And you got a few games still to come. Nuggets will take on the Trailblazers. Warriors have the Magic, and the Clippers the 76ers. So there you have it. A lot of football, little basketball at halftime, and a whole lot of basketball still to come. 20 minutes left. Chargers and Cards. Second half action 5 minutes from now.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back for 2 on the assist.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
Wherever life takes you, remember all roads lead to Econo Lodge. We make travel easy. Econo Lodge, easy stop on the road.
Just about all Wayne Jones County. Diving catch at shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it.
Wherever life takes you, remember all roads lead to Econo Lodge. We make travel easy. Econo Lodge, easy stop on the road.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back for 2 on the assist.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back for 2 on the assist.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
ACCC Game of the Week. Yanston State taking on Georgia Highlands College. A week from today, we head down to Mobile, Alabama. Other end of the state, Bishop State taking on Delgado. 5:30 for the ladies. The men right about 7:30. And it's all part of a slate of ACCC basketball games of the week here on JogJive.com. Second half action underway in possession of the round ball. It is the team that scored the last bucket of the first half, Cards, in a 37-31 contest. Taking a look at the Cardinals. Same 5 that started the game. Arnold, Johnson, Looney, Richardson, McKinney all on the floor as Looney dishes it over to Johnson for 2. Which means the last 5 points have belonged to the Cardinals. Meanwhile, same 5 that began the game begin the second half as well for Georgia Highlands. Johnson, Bernard, King, Waters, and Buford. 4-point contest as we get a second 20-minute stanza underway. By the way, here's what we do the first 10 minutes of the second half. Take your shout-outs. Wherever you may be watching from, let us know. We want to know. And, of course, the shout-outs got to include something about your team. Don't get them cards, charge away Chargers. Okay, that's not really good stuff. You can do better than I. And she got the ball back into the hands of the Cards after the 3, and it's a 1-point game. But here's the number, 334-488-1385. 334-488-1385. Jot the number down. Send us a shout out. Cardinals with a lead. Arnold hits the 2. And Phil Gaffney says, come over here, and I think he's going to call the timeout. Yep, he does. And it is the full timeout. So we're going to take a break too. 334-488-1385. Getting ready to send shout outs when we come back.
Wherever life takes you, remember all roads lead to Econo Lodge. We make travel easy. Econo Lodge, easy stop on the road.
Just about all White Jones County. Diving catch it, shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it. Action back underway. Phil Gaffney asking for the timeout to talk to his Chargers, who have not scored in the second half, but the Cardinals have. And it's now a 1-point advantage that belongs to the Cardinals. Arnold coming down with a rebound. All right, here's again how you do the shout-out thing. 334-488-1385. 334-488-1385. Let us know where you're watching from. Include that on the text shout-out. And then if you would also include who you want to send a shout out to, what team member. 334-488-1385. Now typically it's a number we would post. We're working a little handcuff tonight. Had some technical things go on that has prohibited us from posting some info we typically do. So just memorize and text 334-488-1385. McKinney trying to lobby for possession of the basketball, but it indeed got the fingertips of McKinney before going out. Got to say a huge thank you, by the way, to the Econo Lodge in Boaz. They are providing us a place to stay last night and tonight. And I highly recommend the Econo Lodge, not only if you're in Boaz, as Johnson got a piece of that one, but if you're cruising down the interstate, it's only about 15 miles off the interstate, but completely renovated. Great staff, complimentary breakfast, and you're right around everything that is Boaz. Very economical. You're going to love it. Check it out. The Econo Lodge. Looney underneath the Johnson. And Georgia Highlands still scoreless in the second half. It was a 37-31 halftime game. 11 straight now scoring it. And you tackle on the 3-2. That's 14 in a row scored by Gadsden State unanswered, because you have the 3 by McKinney to end the first half. And then you have had 6 since. No, you've had 11 since. So you're talking at least 14 unanswered Gadsden State points, and turns a 6-point deficit into a 5-point lead. Put in play to Addy. 3-pointer, a miss for Buford. And the Cards looking to add more. Can they make it 16 straight? Richardson with the top of the key, working it right side. McKinney back out to Johnson, shoots the three, got the rim. Addy comes down with it, taken away, and rolled over the front of the rim by Richardson. 16 straight. Carnes now by 7. Addy trying to snap it. The jam won't happen for Bernard. But there is a whistle, there is a foul, and apparently call on Richardson. Well, now they will post Norman Kelly as the committer of the foul. That will be his 4th foul. So Kelly is in foul trouble. Well, I mentioned Coach Tarver. Coach came off in the first half. Tie still on, but now it's loose. So the tie may not stay on the entire second half. And there is the end to 16 straight from the Cardinals as Bernard hits his first of 2. Well, if this Charger team is like previous Charger teams, they can explode on you. They can score bundles in a very short period of time. Of course, Phil Gaffney, as I mentioned, had an opportunity to converse with him prior to the game, and he said, you know, right now we're just not what we were. Brought inside by Ford. From the top of the key, Addy will hit the 3. The thing that looks, I mean, there's a lot of difference, really. And this is very early in the year as compared to a year ago when we saw this Georgia Highlands squad in the GCAA championship. But one of the key differences is the guard play. In the last few years, they have had those small, really quick guards with great leaping ability. Don't see that right now from Georgia Highlands. Noel with a miss. And here comes Richardson to the other end of the floor. Picking up the dribble, Richardson hands it over to Graham, and Graham makes it a 46-42 game at the 15-minute mark. Down front to Ford. The GCAA and the ACCC battling it out here in Alabama. I'm sure Gadsden State saying, hey, listen, Lady Chargers want it. Let the guy Carnes have it. Meanwhile, the Chargers hoping for the sweep. Cardinals wanting the split. Let me take the opportunity, though, to say thank you very much to the commissioners of both conferences, the GCAA and the ACCC, Dave Elbert, Dean Myrick. They're progressive, out-of-the-box thinkers. I mean, how many conferences do you see the kind of coverage you see of the ACC and the GCAA? And the marketing and the branding of the athletics in the two conferences. So they are two of the best. And you got representation from both conferences here tonight. I wonder if Dean is watching in Auburn and Dave is watching in Demarest. If so, hi guys. Good to have you on the other end of the coverage. 46-43 contest. Carnes to bring it in from the baseline near our broadcast booth. Arnold putting in play. He tried to get it to McKinney, tipped away, and Georgia Highlands will have it stolen right back by Richardson. 1-on-2, dumps it over to Arnold. Arnold lost it for a moment, and that brief loss of the handle on the basketball created an opportunity for the Chargers to defend. There's the Richardson steal, and right here you're going to see just a slight bobble. Right there, I mean, it was just ever so slight, but it threw off the timing of Arnold trying to get to the glass ahead of the Charger defense. Over it goes to Ford. Ford's got it at the timeline. And that's Michael Sadler defending. I don't think we saw Michael Sadler in the first half. There's not many names on this Cardinal roster that did not appear in the first half. I think Murphy, Sadler, Carlisle, and Murphy. Jonta and Janicolas. They're the only Cardinals on the roster who did not get some first half minutes. And of course, Sadler on the floor now. Chargers narrowing the gap. It was 7, now 2, and a chance to make it 1 as Ford shoots the back end of 2. 1 for 2, rebounded by McKinney. Richardson picking up the dribble outside of the lane, and there is a reach by Ford. I think Ford actually got him with both hands. He got him with one hand on the back and then the other hand with the reach. Non-shooting foul, first one for the Chargers in the second half. By the way, we're about 4 minutes away from wrapping up your opportunity to send text shout-outs, but if you still feel the need to comment, you can do it anytime during the game or after, for that matter, on Facebook. Game available on our website, on the ACCC Sports Network. Available on your Roku device. There's another steal for Richardson. Or you can watch it on Facebook. Short on the McKinney three-point try. And now a jump ball, and Luke Graham called it. As soon as the whistle was blown, Graham looked at the official and gave the thumbs up sign. And the 2 thumbs up in the world of basketball is not, hey buddy, you're doing a great job. It's a jump ball that's got the Cards in possession, compliments of the possession arrow. Boy, the Cardinal band, which was about 20 to 25 strong here for homecoming, when they decided to go, packed up and went in the span of about 5 minutes. I mean, they got all their gear, all their speakers, all their instruments, all their chairs, and boogie. I guess that speaks well for having a 20 to 25 man crew. I guess we could get out of a venue relatively quick with 20 or 25. Out of bounds. Chargers with the basketball back and an opportunity to tie or take the lead depending on shot selection. Johnson picking up the dribble. He will go out front. Back over it goes to Tyler Thornton. And that's going to be a 3-point foul. Michael Sadler committing the personal. And that means that Addy will go to the line shooting 3. So the Chargers and Addy at the stripe, down by 1. I'll make that 2, but a chance to go up by 1 if you hit all 3. It has been a game that has seesawed back and forth. In the first half, Georgia Highland able to build an 11-point lead. Second half, Cardinals have built as much as 7. So an 18-point swing. And now an opportunity for Addy to give the lead back to the Chargers, and he does. Inbounds goes to Richardson, and Richardson trapped immediately, had to call the timeout to avoid the turnover. It was a 30-second timeout, so let's keep it right here. A few reminders, take care of some formality business. Don't forget the archive version of the game available at its conclusion. You want to watch the ladies' game, you can. It's now available on archives. Archive version of this game after it wraps up. And if you want to download a copy of the game, that's no problem either. Go to the spot on the site where you typically watch the live coverage, but click on the on-demand button, and you'll see all the various games and the downloads available, and the option as to how to do just that. Also, Twitter and Facebook. Follow us, befriend us. We'll keep you updated on everything we're doing. Score from the previous game posted, 77-73, plus a lot of big plays posted. Hashtag ACCC Sports, hashtag the GCAA. To watch the game highlights on Twitter and Facebook, of course, you got to watch them. Got to share them. Got to retweet them. Got to like them and love them. Of course, I guess that's not a requirement, but it is a request. Johnson kicks it over to Addy. Addy shoots the three. It is rebounded by Sadler. They'll make that. That's McKinney that came down with the rebound. Handoff given to Arnold. Arnold coming out of the corner to take the round ball. Tips it back into the corner to Richardson. Shot clock at 13. Bounce pass to Graham. Nothing down low. Let's see if there's something from outside. Nope, the miss. Loose ball. Battle to get it back. Bodies on the floor. Gray had it. Orange had it. And it's the Cards who take it. Arnold. Back over to McKinney. Low-scoring game, at least comparatively speaking. This is Georgia Highlands squad a year ago, no stranger to triple digits. In this one, you're not going to get triple digits unless you really do some scoring. Boy, it's getting a little heated, apparently. Officials stepping in, players bowing up. Let's see if we can. Of course, this part was heated. It was the battle for the loose ball. And that probably is a contributor. And there you see that last-minute elbow swing. And that's probably a large part of the reason it got a little more chippy in that bit of humanity near the top of the key. Looks like we've gone to a 60-second timeout. But let's promo the fact that a week from today we will be in Mobile, Alabama. Bishop State playing host to Delgado. And we'll have the coverage for you. Another doubleheader. The ladies play at 5:30, the men at 7:30. Our first trip to Bishop State's gym. Now, we did some baseball at Bishop State a year ago, but our first opportunity to step inside the gymnasium on the 20th, Delgado and Bishop State. It's your ACCC game of the week, and it's next week here on Jock Jive Sports and the ACCC Sports Network. By the way, those strands that you see that look like maybe is there something wrong with my picture? That is ribbons holding balloons. Balloons everywhere. Compliments of homecoming. Arnold. He hits it. And the lead flip-flops. Adding to the top of the key. And again, we have no name for 15. He has had a lot of playing time, but and deserves a lot of attention, but we can give him none for two reasons. One is the roster provided doesn't have his name on it. The roster on the website doesn't have his name on it. Out of the corner, able to get it to Johnson. Quick toss over to McKinney. And McKinney will back it out, hand back out front to Arnold, and spread the offense of Gadsden State down just a little bit. Or spread it out and slow it down. Bounce pass goes underneath to Graham, blocked from the backside by Johnson. The alley-oop. Waters for two. And now you got a technical on Waters. I don't know if it was the chest pop at the end of the play. It was not something that he did on the rim. I thought, well, maybe for a moment he hung on the rim and I didn't spot it, but he didn't hang on the rim. The only thing I could see on the replay was just a kind of that fist against the chest and maybe some extra verbiage. And now you've got offsetting infractions again. I believe it was Addy and maybe McKinney. So Addy with the foul for the Chargers, McKinney for the Cardinals, and it's gotten a little testy. And these officials trying to keep things under control, as it has indeed gotten a little feisty. And now the officials literally separating the two while they converse. Boy, this is the second time that in as many days that we've been involved in covering an athletic event that really got testy. Yesterday, Georgia Military College and Lackawanna. Man, it was heated. And here we are with Gadsden State and Georgia Highlands, and it has gotten heated again. McKinney will come off the floor, and Torrey Brown inserted into the lineup for the Cards. Looney, he provided the defense, and the defense created the turnover as it rolls out. But now one official will converse with the other, and let's see if it stays in the Cardinals' hands. And apparently it will. Lob down the floor to Johnson. Back quickly is Bernard. Johnson goes to the glass. Tipped away, tipped up, almost tipped in. Rebounded by Waters. And guess what? Another foul. Well, the way it is going, it's a good thing we've got a place to stay tonight, relatively close by. Foul slowing down the pace of the game. The latest one on Richardson, it's his second. Waters shooting, gets his first. Again tonight has been proof of the fact that in the world of junior college basketball, no lead is safe. Although the leads haven't been particularly large, 11-7, they have evaporated relatively quickly. Chargers get it back. Addy with a fadeaway, winds up on his back, but winds up with two. Stolen again by the Chargers. Addy's got it in the corner, trying to extend the momentum as we get inside 10 minutes to go. Over to Johnson. Into the paint, right side, off the glass, able to avoid the Richardson defense for two. And now it is the Chargers with a 7-point lead. Through the hands of Looney, able to come over is Brown. Johnson He pops the tray. Nine minutes to go in this one. And another one going down to the wire. Ladies did. Looks like the men will as well. Johnson getting it over to Bernard. Bernard, that foot slid in the paint. And it is a walk. Brown coming off the floor. And McKinney will check back in for the Cards. Arnold putting it in play. Launches it over to McKinney. Johnson wanted the jam, but then laid it in, and Bernard trying to defend, but could not. We've got a bucket ball game with 8:40 to go. Bounce pass over to Addy. Fans here tonight have been treated to some intense basketball. You like tight versus blowouts in the world of athletics, and that's what we've had in this one. Chargers have got it back, 5-point lead, trying to tack on more again. Addy working it to the top of the key, fires into the corner. The three en route, it's good. Back-to-back threes on back-to-back trips. And the Highland College defense creating the throwaway, and Georgia Highlands got it back. (63-55), and all of a sudden, Georgia Highlands has come to life. Johnson into the paint, and there was a reach, and based on the fact that Norman Kelly is saying it couldn't be me, it probably is, and it is. He's fouled out. Norman Kelly with 7 minutes 35 seconds remaining fouls out of the game. Ladies game featured a number of foul outs. As a matter of fact, 4 total left the game early. 2 for the Lady Cardinals, 2 for the Lady Chargers. The first to foul out in that game did so at the 3:51 mark. The first to foul out in this one does it at the 7:35 mark. Johnson, the 6'3" sophomore from Illinois, shooting free throws, trying to extend the lead to double digits again for Georgia Highlands. Well, one thing that you can make a comparison of this team to previous Georgia Highlands teams is the ability to score bundles in a short period of time. It's almost like a trademark for Charger squads under Phil Gaffney. The ability to just explode and turn a deficit into an advantage. It's currently 9. Maurice Johnson, who had a few first half minutes, has checked into the ball game here in half number 2. Arnold in the paint, looked down low, couldn't get it to anybody. McKinney will bounce it off the chest of Buford. Addy going the other way, threw it to the opposite side of the paint, drew the foul. It's Arnold who committed the personal. Cade White going to the scorer's table. He's about to get onto the floor for the first time since committing that flagrant foul in the first half. The Chargers have extended the lead to double digits. And now Chargers have matched their largest lead. Johnson whipping it over to McKinney. Johnson's got it out front, kicks it over to White. McKinney short on a three-point try. Johnson thought about it. White does it, misses. Cardinals will keep possession. Lewis will bring it in. An 11-point Charger lead. Johnson goes into the corner to White. Taken away. And the Chargers looking to grab their largest lead of the game. And there is the alley-oop again, finished with a jam by Bernard. The lead is 13. That's as big as it has been until now. 16 after the tray from Addy. And Gadsden State wants the timeout. It is a full timeout. They had led by 7. They are now down by 16.
Wherever life takes you, remember all roads lead to Econo Lodge. We make travel easy. Econo Lodge, easy stop on the road.
Just about all White Jones County. Diving catch at shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it. 16-point Georgia Highlands advantage. 6:13 left to play in this one. And true to Georgia Highlands College form, an explosion that has turned a deficit, which was once 7, into a lead, which is now 16. 6 minutes left to play. Over it goes to Johnson. Lost it, able to pick up a loose ball as Bernard. Lobs down the floor. Addy on the receiving end. The behind the back dribble almost lost it for him. Johnson goes out front. Over goes to the timeline to Johnson. Pulls up, thought about the 3, looks down low, goes down low to Buford. And he loses it out of bounds, but apparently off White. Johnson back in, Arnold back in for Gadsden State. Lewis off of Buford and out. So the Cardinals will maintain possession. Cardinals hoping for a big homecoming, a victorious, a sweet homecoming. Well, for the Queen and the King, who were crowned in the first half of the opening game. It's been a pretty good day. For the Cardinals, though, not so much. Hoping to change their fate in game number 2 after an opening game loss for the ladies. But the Chargers trying to get the sweep. Johnson. There's the 3. It's good. And Georgia Highlands beginning to pull away late. White trying to get to the Johnson throw, led him by too much. A 19-point lead. Georgia Highlands trying to get to the 500 mark. (74-55). The ACCC has handed out their postseason awards in volleyball Abby Borden, Hannah Fernandez, Megan Zook, Lexi Riggins, Artasia DeBose, Jewel Mathis, Megan Farmer, and Alexis Brantley, all named to the first team. Aaron Test, Haley Cox, Brianna Nolan, Jordan Brisky, Michaela Jordan, Kaylee Maddox, Alex Vincent, and Bailey Mann on the second team. The player of the year, Abby Borden of Wallace State. Coach of the year, Snead State's Angie Sanders. So congratulations to all. Snead State's going to be a team to be reckoned with a year from now. Had just about all freshmen. I think it was one sophomore in the starting lineup. Everybody else freshmen. And with everybody back, look out for Snead State. Of course, Megan Zook is that freshman who certainly put her mark on the program at Snead State. She'll be back for another year, we would assume. I guess with junior college athletes, always the possibility they depart early. Shot, no good. Shooting over Looney, and it's tipped away into the hands of Johnson. Over it goes to Annie. Annie took an extra step. But congratulations to all the ladies that came away with some hardware, and deservedly so. Of course, all volleyball not over for the ACCC. Wallace State Hansville traveling to Hutchinson, Kansas. As a matter of fact, might be there. Probably get there tomorrow. Or actually, might be there now. Who knows? Looney grabbing the rebound, trying to put it up. Missed, got fouled. But what a tough row to hoe, by the way, for Wallace Hansville, as they will have the #1 team in the nation. They go in as a 6 seed. I make that a 16 seed, which means they've got the #1 seed, which means they will be taking on Miami-Dade, an unbeaten Miami-Dade squad in the first round of play in the Volleyball National Championships in Hutchinson. So, yeah, it's tough, but they got there. Looney makes it a 16-point game. Over it goes to Johnson. Johnson working it to the timeline. Back out front. That is Bernard with it. King, who started but hasn't played a lot in this one, gets it inside to Bernard for 2. And with 3 minutes left to play, it will be very difficult to come back, but don't have any quit in the cards. Looney able to get the Johnson miss. Kicks it over to McKinney. McKinney with a miss, and Looney gets another REB. Fouled, bringing it inside. Obviously, no conference games. And now a little extra jawing going on. The official stepping in to say, okay, guys, split up and shut up. Gotta love Looney, though. Looney's one of these guys that he's got explanations and shares them with officials. Oh my! Some extra conversations going on, and I think Johnson said something to King, and Johnson might have got teed up for it. Well, I haven't seen the official indicate the technical sign. So it may be a double tech. Maybe it is on both King and Johnson. There's the conversation going on. So they're both teched. both King and Johnson. And boy, the jawing's still going on. Now you got officials making explanations to coaches. You got players trying to explain to officials. You got officials saying, guys, come on. There's 2:52 to go in the game. Let's shut up and play ball. Well, it's part of the game. You got temperaments that get a little touchy, fighting hard for a victory, and when it looks like you're not going to have things come out with a W, it can sometimes get testy, and the conversations are continuing. And I guess an explanation for Coach Tarver will now become an explanation for Coach Gaffney. Gadsden State 3-1 coming into this one. Georgia Highlands just below the 500 mark at 2-3. And I think, at least for the moment, well, got to have a basketball to shoot free throws, and that's what Looney went and retrieved. This may have been the longest time between a foul and a free throw that I've ever seen. It was about 3 or 4 minutes. And the time alone may have iced Looney. One for two goes Looney. The lead is 17. Hand it over to Addy. Addy working it into the paint. Leans in. Right hand. Shot missed. Addy wound up on the floor. And the push put him there. Here comes Luke Graham to the scorer's table to check in. And foul is on Johnson. It's his second. Addy will shoot. This is a game that got underway just a little bit before 8 o'clock. And it's not that far away from 10. A 2-hour contest. Not quite, but getting there. And Johnson has been summoned to the sideline. Graham will go in, and I think part of the reason to get Johnson over here is just to kind of cool him off a little bit. Coach wanting cool heads to prevail. Back to an 18-point game. Put into McKinney, and he will throw it away cross court. His intended target was Richardson, but it misses Richardson and goes out. So the Chargers have it back. It typically is not in the Charger DNA to run the clock. So let's see if, nope. Get it to about 16 and pop the three. There's the biggest lead of the game, as it's now 21. And you got the steal, but got the carry. And it looks like Georgia Highlands College is going to get the 500 mark, as they lead it by 21 with 2 minutes 14 seconds left to play. Foul called on Buford. Largest leads I've seen evaporate, not a 21-point lead in 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Did see a 12-point lead with a minute 12. And as a matter of fact, the team that was down by 12 with a minute 12 came back and won the game in regulation. But don't know that I've seen many 21-point leads go away with just about 2 minutes to go. Over goes to Addy. Inside 2 minutes left. And this is the equivalent to a slowdown for GHC. When that shot clock is at 5, that's unusual. Rebounded by Arnold. Shoots the 3, it's short. Looney coming up with a rebound, kicks it out front. 3-point try, nailed by Richardson. 82-66, a minute 22 to go. Phil Gaffney wanted a foul called on the Arnold reach, but I think the officials, with an 82-66 game and a minute 16 left to play, have decided, unless it absolutely needs to happen, why call it? Top of the key. Brown into the lineup. Lost it, bringing it into the paint. Picked up by Graham. Two-shot foul committed by Addy. For Addy, it is foul. Make the Bernard. Bernard picking up his 4th personal. And Arnold gets his first of 2. 82-67, 62 seconds left to play. ACCC Game of the Week. Wrapping up, looks like a Charger sweep. Ladies won it 77-33. Men with the 82-68 lead in less than a minute to go. Gadsden State will fall to 3-2. Georgia Highlands will improve to 3-3. Not exactly the way Gadsden State had hoped their homecoming would go. Chargers came here wanting to play the spoilers role. Don't forget, on Monday, another game of the week in Mobile and Bishop State. Delgado and Bishop State, 5:30 for the ladies and the men to follow. And of course, archives and downloads all available on the site. Graham with a tip in. And then the foul committed by Johnson as the toss goes to Johnson. Maurice, the Johnson, committing the foul for the Cardinals on Taiwan. The Johnson for the Chargers. Facebook and Twitter, love to have you as a friend and follower. At Jock Jive on Twitter, Jock Jive Sports on Facebook. Score, schedules, more. Heck, you can watch the game on Facebook. You can go back and watch the game on Facebook too. And all the big plays from tonight. Hashtag ACCC Sports. Hashtag the GCAA. So I think we've got all the formalities out of the way, and we can wrap up this one after a Brown 2. Tori Brown makes it an 84-72 game with 20 seconds remaining. For us from here, let's see, we've got NJCAA Division II volleyball in West Virginia starting Thursday. James and company will be in Jackson, Mississippi for Jackson State and Alcorn State on the SWAC Digital Network on Saturday. Buford with it, top of the key. And this one officially over. It is gone final. It is a victory that belongs to Georgia Highlands. 84-72 your final. The ladies won 77-73 in the opening game. So a sweep for the Chargers. And the Cards tonight go 0-2. Thanks so much for watching our coverage. Great to have you on the other end of the broadcast, wherever you may have been watching. James Crenshaw has been your producer. Mark Mendiola has been running camera. I'm Robert Williamson. Thanks so much for watching the ACCC Sports Network on Jock Jive.